Fatima, I need you to stop racing so much. I know you've recently got a new vehicle for yourself, but remember, still pay the insurance. Every time you mess up another person's car without your magic fixing it, I get a nasty letter from both the police, my insurance, and your victims.
I'd like to see you try to stop me.
Oh, I will, and it'll be using my own car to stop you.
Demo, I don't want you to get hurt, but I can revive you if you eat your steering wheel, okay? So I'll just ram you if you get in the way, just like I rammed that car over there.
Fatima, that car's on fire! Was anyone hurt?
Nah, I poofed them back into wherever they were before they got into their vehicles.
Well, I hope it wasn't the middle of the road, but you didn't fix the vehicle.
And you didn't fix your attitude either. Who are you anyway, my father?
Don't talk back to me.
Well, even though you're being a big D, you want to...
My name does start with D after all.
You want to know what ends in a big D?
Is that a Euro beat?
Sorry, can't hear you over the 1980s calling. Eat my dust.
Hey!
Oops, my bad.
Oh no, Fatima. You're not getting away from me that easily. Wow! Hey! Fatima, don't you leave me like this! I will tell your mother on you! Well, now that I have time to wait to start the video, I guess I can do it while I'm up here. Have you ever realized that some people who love rap, or rock, or metal, or dubstep, but tend to hate the others mentioned? Have you ever wondered what allows everyone to settle their differences and come to give respect to each other of the genres? Well, nothing allows for the unification of genres differences other than a car drive around the town. Because cities get a little packed during the day. Ow! I'm not thanking you! Alright, now that we've fixed that problem, today we're going to be looking at 15 Vocaloid songs that will make you glad you are in this super rad vehicle. Because why the heck would you go anywhere else other than drive around these days and look at all the derelict places you used to frequent? These are in no particular order, and what is going on with my vehicle? Fatima, stop it! Please! I'll not be showing the actual videos to the songs due to most of them not actually having one, and for me to drive around, giving you some fantastic immersion using the game BeamNG Drive. And once we're done, I'm going to set up a pretty awesome crash sequence so we can have some real fun after it all. Oh yeah! That wasn't the crash. However, I'll also add in an extra song of my own, making it 16 songs. New, unheard. Now, let's not tarry too long because I'll run out of gas eventually, and I went the wrong way. Let me turn around. And also, this model car has a problem blowing the engine for hip checking a pebble, so I'll try my best to drive and talk at the same time while not going over the speed limit too much because this car can reach up to almost 190 miles per hour. So let's start the playlist, shall we? First off, we have Him by Croissant Chicago. And that is a fantastic name. I think I've said that before on another top 10. We have a regular post-rock song as the first one, and that just sounds like a radio song to the point I'm wondering why it's not. Then I remember it's Vocaloid, and I cry the frustrated tears everyone else does about how Vocaloid isn't regarded as well as mainstream media as techno is, even though it almost kind of uses the same style of synthesizers to make the voice. This song is a very melodic piece of art that comes with nature sound effects, just like we're driving through right now. It makes you feel as though your window is down, listening to the birds as you drive maniacally on the front of a school. You probably shouldn't do that. It doesn't take away from the rhythm and boppy feel the song gives you though. This song is what started this video idea when I played this in my car, so yeah, bear with me on that one. I should probably stop turning the camera. Next we have A Heart to Live by Delta. One thing radios always play are hip-hop songs. And for an unofficial, it's like an unofficial genre of pop songs sang by hip-hop artists that I just use for some varying reason. And while I'm not calling Flower a hip-hop artist, it's extremely hard to not hear the exemplary style she brings to the song. Of course, there are portions of the song that are out of context. Delta obviously combining various genres together to create a substance you can only find in his songs or her songs, unsure. It's literally structured much like a commercial song in the chorus, but melodically beautiful in the verses. And speaking of beautiful, oh my gosh. Woo! This is my new PC going on, peeps. This new PC capable of running this at perfect frames per second. Oh yeah. And you know, all the verses and the chorus, it's just really hard to top. The intro is so good. I just gotta restart it sometimes just because it's just that good. But sadly, it doesn't really pop up anywhere other in other parts of the song. But you know, it doesn't take away from the song. Next we have 40 miles per hour speed limit, but we're not following it. All Is Music by E6. Techno rap, ready for the nitrous. Even though this car doesn't technically have nitrous because, I don't know. This song sounds so good, it's almost as if it's buried in Gran Turismo's catalog. As it's trilingual in its core, encompassing English, Spanish, and sections of Japanese. It's punchy, it's dance ready, I think I'll go left, and has the perfect sound of a certain Latino rap artist that I can't really get out of my music engulfed head. It's even got a Kirby-style melody that it's not even funny. Oh, absolutely not funny, because it reminded me of Kirby's Air Ride, which is a racing game on the GameCube. If you don't know what that is, it's just perfectly designed that I had to drive to it, and I didn't regret it at all. Next we have Higher by First Place International, Jeremy Buck, and John Mellencamp, featuring Moe Z and Sadaharu Yagi. Well, that's a lot of people. Can I get a call to Funky Town? How about the Soul Train? Does anyone know what that even is nowadays? Anyone? Press the like, cook the like if you do. This is the utilization of IA English's Chevio debut by First Place International, and as such, it's kind of perfect. IA has her own racing album after all, which, if this video gets a good turnout, the racing one will be next. If not the police chase songs, because I can't decide which one I want to do first. Because this video was not easy to create, at the very least, I've tried to do this over 20 times. The song itself does not disappoint at all. To the point, I'm obviously skeptical, and I'm kind of worried that they somehow buffed up her vocals using her actual voice provider for the song, because it sounds so crisp and clear, just like this ocean. Oh boy, that's beautiful, baby. Oh, it is beautiful. Wow. And it almost sounds unbelievable. And they have done that before. I think that was First Place. But this one is this fantastic soul-bearing song with a touch of that extremely classic funk I grew up with driving in a car. Well, someone else driving, because I didn't grow up driving. That'd be kind of weird. But next to rock masterpieces, funk songs are where it's at in a vehicle. Well, at least when I grew up. Oh yeah, of course, speaking of rock masterpieces, next we have Philosophy of Precious Love by Cho Cho P. This one is my favorite Vocaloid song that is from an artist that isn't really that heavy in terms of genre style. There isn't much of the piano Cho Cho P uses in most of his songs that he's technically known for, but the rhythm isn't anything to scoff at either. With Miku singing and having backup singing in the back, because it's backup singing, I'm not sure why it's added that part, it sets itself apart from other hard rock songs. Philosophy of Precious Love is hands down a roll your window down and let the world hear your music song. It's really perfectly created, and the subtle guitar tone underneath the rhythm guitar lends itself to the feeling that puts this squarely in the driver's seat. Let me speed up, let's do it. Next we have Resonate and Ripple Out by Giga Pete. This is a very, well, I guess I'd say subtle Giga Pete songs. Also, don't worry about me not following stop signs. There are no police and no traffic. It has a lot of dubstep grind to it. What it lacks in melody, it gives in sound effects that just fit the technologically advanced design of a race car. By the way, if you want the racing car video first, then click the like button and tell me you want the race car. If you want the chase scene first, click the like button and then tell me you want the chase scene first. The more you like it, the more oomph and ability I'll have. I think I'll go left. But this song really does give the feeling of driving in a futuristic VR game, if anything else. It gives you enough bass to make everyone pissed off at your super powerful bass amplifiers, and make everyone who likes bass amplifiers jealous that you have what they don't. Hear it and weep. Oh no, there went my engine! Well, this isn't Giga P's best song, in my opinion, and I'm not even going to touch the Giga Michi M crossover, because why would I? But I will say that it was hard to choose which Giga P song to put here. And this one won. Unlike my engine, I don't know why I'm coasting to a crawl. Well, crap. The next song we have is called For My Soul by Junkie. Admittedly, even though I praised Cho P's song for being a hard rock anthem to drive to, this one tops it by at least 10 points. This is literally rock to burn rubber to. This song is what makes you want to go faster than the speed limit allows, or at least get on the highway to let you go over 70 miles per hour like I'm doing right now. The drums are punchy, just like the car likes them, and the bass is perfectly deep. And the guitar solo is fire enough, but sadly it's just a little too short for my taste. Oh, the camera looked kind of weird and funky. While the chorus, it gives it that, that Vocaloid charm. And while I'm obviously trying not to wean off course and attacks, the trees get out of the camera, Anyway, to leave For My Soul out would be equivalent to blowing your head gasket, otherwise known as a very big problem. Next, we have Shijo no Koe by Oster Project. Okay. This one is literally a promotional song for Toyota Prius. I veered off course. I'm not a Prius type of guy. I do like Toyota vehicles because their brakes feel nice to me when I press it. You can actually hear the name Toyota in the chorus of this song. And I'm not sure why I would not add this song since it's actually played on radio as a commercial for the Prius. To the point, it actually has the English words, advanced relaxation, and a bunch of other words too, which makes me beg the question if Japanese people were the only target for the song, because it seems like Toyota or Oster Project knew of the English fandom and didn't want to leave them out. Now, that's dedication to the craft. Vocaloid is owned by Yamaha after all, and Toyota does get parts from Yamaha motors on certain occasions. So this is literally something that has been coming since Vocaloid's conception. In fact, Miku did a thing with Toyota herself. So yeah. Next, we have Dragon Rising by Takamatsu. This certainly has a very methodical pace along with a heavily inspired vocal rap track about a dragon rising over the waterfall. Magikarp! Faster than the speed limit, it has an almost Latino rap vibe that sounds like it escapes the vehicles from any Fast and Furious movies. Maybe except movie number 8. Or the game, ironically. But seriously, driving with this in the ear isn't hard to get me grooving with a dragon. And while that's a pretty sweet thing to end on, I'll just say it here. Gumi and Lin duets are few and far between, and sometimes come off rather irrational sounding. But this one makes it so perfect. Next we have Girls Talk by Testman. Whoa, okay, here we go. Sunday drive, anyone? How about we go back to that new ice cream parlor while we heading toward the racetrack? This song has something the other tracks lack a bit. and that's the happiness that is almost obnoxious. Because every playlist needs one of those songs, of course. I'm not saying this song is bad at all, because it's on the list. But I will say that it doesn't fit with the rest, and the guitar is definitely real. With a massive pop punk style that just spontaneously turns into something from Green Day, people tend to associate punk with racing or chase scenes sometimes, and a happier sounding one would fit for just a nice little drive across the countryside. Oh, that was a perfect rhyme. Next we have Overdrive by Kisaragi Suna. Short and sweet, this song is really about driving a car. So, why would I leave this out? I mean, it sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog tunes. Come on. You hear that too, right? It's obviously inspired by Crush 40 and the makers of Sonic's rock ballads we all remember from childhood. It's far too reminiscent of Crush 40, has the feel of going fast, back in Imagination Land when playing Sonic games, and frankly, Sega owns Sonic, owns the Project Diva series, and there is even a Miku mod in Sonic Mania. If this song wasn't here, it'd be a smack in the face to Miku and Sega and everybody else mentioned. Because not only is it reminiscent, it's also a very good song to drive to. Okay, gushing over. Not going down that road. Alright, well, there went my engine again. Alright, we're back. Also, it kinda got nighttime. Oh, there they go, yeah. Oh, they're much better. Now we have Night Drive by F.A. or E-F-F-E. Drive is in the name? Check. Sounds like a cafe tune? Check. Can make Mama Haku tell me to stop playing it because it makes her fall asleep? Also check. A good song to play in the morning? It depends on when. This song is good to drive around the city at night, even though I'm not in a city, I'm actually in the countryside. It's just gotta be underneath the street lights, you know? Next to the neon lights flickering over ads you can barely see in the windows. Just imagining it really gives an air of so memorable. You may even need to look outside the window and make sure it's not night already. The producer really did do a fantastic job of capturing the feel, and must have had a lot of night drives in the past. Whether it was for good reasons or bad reasons, it created a perfect song. Just don't fall asleep while driving. I don't want to hear you getting hurt because you forgot to keep your eyes open, okay? Next we have Mayonaka no Drive by Y Sato. Sure, the last one was rife with sounds of neon lights underneath the moonlight, but this jazz-style masterpiece gives me the good vibes. This one not only sounds like you're driving around a huge city, but also that you're rich. I don't know why I went down here. Again, like you're driving around Las Vegas or any other swindler city that steals your wallet, your job, and marries your girlfriend. If I had a massive city in this game, I'd show it to you, but I don't, so I can't. But what can I do to simulate it in these cool sparkle effects I use sometimes to make videos more popular? There you go, haha. Whoop. Oh, okay. Steady car, steady. There isn't much else I can say about the song, other than it's repetitive and ends a bit too abruptly for my taste, but it's still fantastic to drive to, depending on the location. Oh! Okay, I got it. Stable. Stay stable. Well, okay, whoa now. Next we have a pretty awesome song called Skyscraper by Yucha P, and there went my engine again. Come on. And we're back with Skyscraper by Yucha P. On the slower side of rock, we have Skyscraper, which is from the album Casino, which I actually own the CD to. And after I cried over the fact that the case was completely destroyed in shipping, I took the disc and played it in my vehicle all through high school, through to college. I couldn't get enough of that album, and to the point where Dame Dream's Cinderella is officially down as my second favorite Vocaloid song of all time, next to Kaz's Angel Bullet. And if this isn't an obvious foreshadowing reference, the song is very good to keep the pace on the road while driving. It doesn't go too fast, too slow, but it's just right where you want it. Right in the speed limit where you won't get a ticket and lose the chance to buy the new hella expensive consoles coming out in a few months. Well, I've heard they're not going to be that expensive. Like, non-disc ones are going to be like $100 cheaper. And that's pretty good. Next we have Little Wings by Kaz, and this will be the final one. Remember what I said about foreshadowing reference? Oh, that's a barn over there. That's pretty cool looking. We're reaching headlong into metal music, because why the heck not? I had to weigh the options and ask myself if this was best to race to, be chased to, or just to drive to. And I'm gonna go back over here. But I came to the conclusion that even though it's really intense, the verses are, well, I guess I'd say burst enough to give an incomparable sense of confidence when driving. While the chorus just seems to scream that you hit the gas pedal, like I'll do it right now. There you go. It's really a song to get you prepped up for whatever today may hold, wherever you go. And that's why we drive sometimes just to go nowhere but back home. To listen to music, sing if we want, and think about the wonders of nature. Oh, this is beautiful, gorgeous. Oh yes. I will admit though, if this song had a guitar solo, it wouldn't be here. It would be in the racing list, which I will remind you that you must like and comment which songs you know that are good to drive to. I think I'm going to go and start the crash sequence. You know, I just love beautiful landscapes. You know what else I love? I love destruction. Meet the V10 Destroyer. This car has a RPM of 5 million. That is 6 zeros, mind you. And it's created by Simon1234 and designed by the Kraken, the Crack. And look at this engine. This engine tends to lock up, and these wheels tend to blow out for no apparent reason. I mean, it's just so low, but it has a top speed of Mach 20, and we're going to go through this 1/4 of a mile highway, which we will get through in about 20 seconds, mind you. Have you seen any good movies lately? Oh wait, COVID happened. Never mind. You can't do that. But we can go over here and hit this fruit stand, which is selling lovely biscuits. And we're also going to try to hit this guy, unsuspecting, going to try to buy fruit from the wrong side of the fruit stand. What are you gonna get in a fruit stand in the middle of the road? And over here, you may see this blocky thing. It was a piano, but it said hit my keys harder, so I did. And, well, that happened. And we meet the final boss, the cinder block wall, ready and waiting to get a pounding. Are you ready, cinder block wall?
Yes, I am!
Alright, Sawbat, shut up. Now we go back to the car. Now, are you prepared to start your engines? We're getting ready in 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, now, he's starting off. He's starting off really quick like. Oh, now, get control, boy! Yeah, you're going across the meridian. Whoa, now, whoa, oh, dang, oh, what happened to the wheels? Whoa, crash, yes, oh, yeah!
Everyone in the United States is dead, and most of Mexico is dead too.
Now let's see it from a different perspective. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it jumped. Oh, whoa, that's pretty gnarly. Aww, the cinder block wall didn't want to be left out, so it fell. All right, let's look at the damage. The piano isn't even here. This is the only thing that's left of it, and I don't know how to feel about that one. It pounded it harder than I did. Oh, the fruit stand only half survived. Oh, and our unsuspecting victim survived. No, we cannot have this. Oh, man, I wanted to hurt you. I'm not a psychopath, I swear. Oh, wait, what's that? You want to watch this in slow motion? Nice. I think I like you. Stupid slow motion, only going 1% too fast. All right, here we go. Oh, it jumped him. Oh, there it goes, and it follows. Oh, there went the piano. Oh, and that's not even, oh, that ain't even right. Oh, look at that, it stretched doing that yoga posing. Oh, dang, well, it just went off the map, didn't it? And we see, as we watch the bricks fall over. It's like saying, no, I wanted that car for my birthday. No! Okay, maybe I'm having a little too much fun, but this is good. Never forget to subscribe and click the like button, and we're gonna end it once we get home and pick up all these pieces so I don't get a fine. I mean, come on. You can't just leave this here. It's past the fence. I'll get a fine for that. I gotta pick this up. Now we move on to my debut song. I tried my best to turn into a song that I could drive to, and I call it 0 Horsepower. I wanted to make it slow with a tinge of concrete conception to it, trying to give it that old glam rock style to it, if you could call it that. It's not perfect by any means, and there are some parts that make me wondering if something could have been done better, but I have to admit the rhythm and methodology really lends itself to a roll your window down and corrupt the world with your noise pollution style of music. Because one thing I noticed in this list is that a lot of songs change the key toward the end and move the song along a stretch of road to find a new location. And I guess that's why songs sound so good in a car. I don't know. What are your thoughts here? Oh, this is dangerous. Look. Whoa, okay. Alright. As we take our car and drive it down the mountain the wrong way, as I will soon show, I want to say sorry for being over a year late on a top 10. Life hasn't been good to me, unfortunately, and that's why I'm rolling my car down the cliff, or going to try to. Hold on. Have an idea. Nice. YouTube decided to punch me the other day in the gut by tearing up my contract in the partner program once again. Where this time, I'll lose some features just like my car lost its entire livelihood and future. What features will I lose? Force me to eat my tires because I have no burning rubber clue as to why I have to even deal with a team of grown adults acting as if robots can successfully be our overlords. And to be fair enough to humans, they say they care about, but actually just want their money. I'm also tearing down my Patreon again because they just lost a heavy lawsuit. And I don't really need an unstable ground if I can afford to not plant a flag there. So unfortunately, there isn't much you can do to support me other than comment out the wazoo as algorithm food, but don't spam the same stupid thing. If you don't know what to comment, then just tell me which top 10 you want next, the chase list or the race list. Videos, no matter what, will be copyrighted. So, this will be copyrighted since I'm trying a newer style. This isn't easy, so I have to think further outside of the box while keeping my content great and fun to keep watching. Over and over and over again. Who doesn't like watching car crashes? Pew! Oh, that was a deep explosion! Nice! Crashing is one of the main reasons we watch races anyway. I will continue to do this, but seriously, coming up with video ideas on a very tight schedule is very, very difficult. And I have no idea how to keep doing this. I would also like to mention that if you want to see anime-style gaming, even indie games, then head over to RejoiceBox, my gaming channel, where you can see all the outtakes, because there were a lot! Oh man. And also to find a slew of videos, even a video of Fatima racing to back up the skit of today's video, but I'll end it here. So if you want more gaming content, if you want more Vocaloid content, then you press that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Click the like button as well, comment down below, and never forget, I love you, and catch it next time.